Hello, everyone. I just had a dream. I asked the Lord to show me how to protect my salvation, and He showed me this dream. I was leaving my house, and I had my children and my wife in the car. My wife had to go back in to get something at my house. There was a large group of people in the front of my house. Now, what they were doing is they were asking for the name of one of my daughters because they saw I had 3 children. And I was backing up my car and they were trying to get in the way of my car. And I kept positioning back and forth to continue moving, but they were trying to get around me tighter and tighter to not let me move. And what I didn't see is something they were doing. So I continued to move, and this father figure of a large group of they were children of all ages, like from 6 to 10 to 12 to some as older teenagers, and they were constantly trying to get to my car. And this man kept yelling at me, "What is the name of your daughter? I need to give her some. I need to give her some." So I went to drive away, and my wife yelled out my name. And I realized that I had left without her. So as I went to turn around, this group of people that were pretending to be children of this guy who was pretending to be, like, I don't know what they were doing, canvassing, or I'm not sure. But I began to realize my surroundings and what this guy had done. And they had set up tents in my neighbors' yards on both sides. And first glance, they looked like they were having a little camping day. But what they were actually doing is they were waiting for me. And they managed to stop me on the street. And this is when, in my mirror, I noticed they had wrenches in their hands and they were trying to loosen my tires. They did not want to let me get away. So I hit the pedal to the metal and I started to go as fast as I could back to my house. I was the distance of about 4 to 5 city blocks. But there was a kid on a bike hanging on to my car. And that's when I noticed that my tire was flat. And that's when I realized they didn't just want to talk to me. They didn't want to just, take the air out of my tires. They were there. They were already lying and cheating. They were there to kill me. So I began to go towards my house as fast as I could. My tires were flat. I told my kids, put your seatbelts on and hang on. And I just went as fast as I could. And I had this guy attached to my car on a bike. And I had committed at that moment, it was me and my family or letting the enemy win. So I just picked kind of a target. I went towards their tents and they all jumped out of the way. And then I realized there was more of them than there was of my family. And they were everywhere on both sides, all in these little pup tents. And I just drove at the tents. I drove on both sides of the road over the curbs. And I just drove full tilt toward what looked like rocks. And I woke up. That was my dream. This was an answer to a prayer that I asked God, how do I protect my salvation? I am not going to pretend I understand everything, but I do believe the enemy is always around us. And if we're not careful, they can get to us. Thank you for listening to this stream, and I love you, and Jesus loves you more. Bye.